What if there was one thing that you could drink that could completely eradicate stress and anxiety within the body? Hi there, my name's Jessica, and here on my channel, we focus on all things mom life. However, everything we do here in my space does have a bit of a healthy twist, as I'm a holistic nutritionist and a nutritional practitioner. We focus on stress a lot here in this space. As busy moms and women on the go, stress is part of our day-to-day life, and there is no way to mitigate that. It will absolutely present itself day in and day out. It's how we respond to stress and the tools that we have in our toolkit to help us get through those troublesome times that are important. And today, I want to talk with you guys about one herb that I use on a daily basis to completely remove extra stress from my afternoon. I feel like these days we're getting bombarded on social media with ways to manage stress and to deal with stress and different tips and information on stress. Sometimes we need less information and more transformation and applicable tips. And because I know your time is valuable, I want to share with you my favorite drink and herb that I use to help in times of crisis and as a day-to-day tool to help manage any excess stress. So let me introduce to you lemon balm. When we feel overwhelmed in situations, we actually lose access to the part of our brain that helps us feeling calm and collected and level-headed. As a result, we tend to rely on different tools in our toolbox, some healthy, some not so healthy. So whether that's scrolling on our phone or a little bit of snacking on unhealthy foods, our brains tend to actually shut down because it cannot cope with that overwhelming feeling of stress and anxiety. And I want to remind you that this is perfectly normal for your brain to do this, and that overwhelming need to kind of move around or do something or scroll on your phone and do these activities is some of our coping mechanisms and tools that we have. But if I were to tell you that there's an alternative way and something else that you could use to cope, I'm sure all of us would be like, sign me up for that. If there's a healthier alternative that will also help me long term. If you have followed me for any period of time, whether it's here on YouTube or over on Instagram, then you will not be surprised that I am indeed talking about lemon balm. Lemon balm tea is one of my favorite ways to calm down the nervous system and actually also support the digestive system as well. We are all very familiar with that butterflies in our stomach feeling when we're anxious or nervous, and that is because of the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve runs from the base of our brain all the way down to our stomach, giving us that butterfly feeling, when in actuality, it is indeed the nervous system. So if there was an herb and a tool like lemon balm tea that actually calms the nervous system and supports your digestive tract, that's something that I would highly encourage you to reach for in times of stress. So lemon balm is an herb. It's in the mint family, and it's also known as Melissa. It has like an earthy, lemony, minty flavor and scent to it. I find it to be extremely soothing, not only to the nervous system, but to the palate as well. The smell, it's bold, earthy, a little bit refreshing and minty. And the reason that I reach for lemon balm tea is because of its active constituents within the plant. As a nervine, it helps to support our mood, relaxation, cognition, and overall mood. I find that when I drink lemon balm tea, I notice immediately from drinking it that overall I have a little bit less of those reoccurring thoughts, those racing thoughts. I feel a little bit more settled in my seat or standing or in bed, wherever I am that I'm drinking the tea. I also notice that I do have better ability to recall information when I am sipping on lemon balm tea. And a little bit later in the video, I'm going to talk through the different times of day that I drink lemon balm tea and when I recommend it to my clients as well. So because lemon balm has adaptogenic properties, it has a ripple effect within the body. It of course can calm down that nervousness and that angst, but it also can help ward away any of those pesky symptoms that can come in times of anxiety and stress, whether that be migraines, tension headaches, insomnia, heart palpitations, and the inability to focus. As I said, whenever I'm sipping on lemon balm tea, I do find myself being able to recall my thoughts faster, being able to access information in my brain. I find that I'm not distracted by some of those looping thoughts on my to-do list or emails that I need to reply to. I find that I'm a bit more focused. Therefore, I'm able to access certain parts of my memory and brain faster than I do when I'm not sipping on this beautiful herb. Lemon balm has also been shown to be a brain restorative herb, which is incredible because long-term wise, the more you sip on lemon balm tea and the more you consume lemon balm, it helps manage the response to stress and tension, helping to rewire and retrain the brain in these times of crisis, which of course we cannot avoid. The characteristics also help with the pituitary and adrenal axes, so therefore it's a beautiful and incredible tool for us women and our hormonal systems and the endocrine system. And because it is adaptogenic, it helps us long-term as well. So it's not just a quick fix or an instant fix, but it's something that helps us more and more over time, of course, the more that we consume it and include it in our day-to-day life. So overall, the less cortisol that we have circulating through our body, the more that we're able to tune in, stay calm, focus on our breathing while sipping on this delicious herb. It does indeed, of course, continue to help that stress response over time. That's why I love adaptogenic herbs and I include them every single day. I'm always asked how I stay calm and how I remain calm in certain situations. I will say that eating a nutrient-dense diet, having really healthy routines that help me throughout my day, whether that's my morning routine, my evening routine, all of these different anchors, of course, help me stay level-headed, but then including just little tips and tools and having these in my toolbox at all times really just take things up to the next level. Before we talk about the different times of day that I utilize lemon balm, I want to talk really quick about anxiety and stress triggers. And I think this is really important because then we can adapt this to your schedule and when you should be consuming this herb to help you. The first question I would ask all of you is to identify your anxiety triggers and your stress triggers. If there's something that happens every single day when you're driving into work, maybe it's the kids are fighting in the back seat or no one will get their shoes on, I ask for you to just identify these certain times of day where there are triggers and then proactively think about when we could include this herb beforehand to help with your stress response. Next, I want you to notice what anxiety feels like to you. Anxiety may feel different to you than it does to me. Back when I was 23 years old and I was really struggling, and that's when I started my health journey, I felt it in my hands. My hands would go numb. It's like as if you're sitting on your foot and it starts to tingle and it falls asleep. I would feel that in my hands, but I would be walking around, I would be at different work events and my hands would go numb. And those were my triggers. I started to watch these patterns and then once I noticed, I started to jot down certain times of day that they would be heightened. Then it was really helpful for me, not only what anxiety and stress felt like to me, but then the different times of day that it would be potentially heightened. Then is when we add in our healthy rituals. So adding in some rituals, maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier, writing everything out. All of that extra stress that's on your mind that you could carry with you throughout the day, write it down on a piece of paper. That way, at least it's out of your brain, it's out of your thoughts, you've written it down, and maybe you can write down 1 to 2 action steps or something you can do to make those stressors more manageable. 1 to 2 action steps that you can include in your daily schedule so that it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Then something else that's incredibly helpful for me and so many of my clients is adding an evening routine. Having an evening routine where you just get everything out of your brain, get it on a piece of paper, maybe while drinking your lemon balm tea, maybe by sitting next to the diffuser or after you've gotten out of a magnesium soaked bath. Having these different rituals and routines are really helpful. That way we don't feel like we're carrying the weight of the world inside of our brain or inside of our bodies. It's something we're able to get out, we're able to separate ourselves from it and identify those triggers and really take a step back and develop action plans, help us manage them more closely and in a healthier capacity. Now that we've gone through and identified our triggers, we know when they're coming, we know what they feel like, and we've set up some routines and rituals to help us feel calm and collected around anxiety and stress. I want to discuss with you how I use lemon balm in my day-to-day life. So I like to personally sip on lemon balm from about 2 p.m. on. So I will make a cup of lemon balm tea probably at like 1:30, 2 o'clock before my afternoon calls, because I know I have to wrap up my day before the hustle and bustle of rushing out the door, getting Sawyer from school, getting Ronan off the bus, all of the after school activities, especially if I'm on client calls, I want to be fully present. So I will make some lemon balm tea about 1:30, between 1:30 and 2:30 and sip on it then. Additionally, if I'm not drinking bone broth, which I do love to do while I cook dinner, if I'm not doing that, I will also sip on a cup of lemon balm tea. And lastly, another time that I love to include lemon balm tea is right around 7 p.m. So right before we get the kids to bed, while we're kind of still finishing the after dinner cleanup, maybe we've just finished bath time, I love to sip on lemon balm tea then as well. It helps me unwind from the day. It helps me take a peek at my to-do list, make sure everything is lined up and ready to go for the next day, get any permission slips, any things to do for school, put everything in everybody's backpack. That way I don't feel overwhelmed. Also, we mentioned that lemon balm is wonderful for our digestion. It helps with, of course, your digestion and any of the foods that you may have consumed at dinner time. And it also just preps my body to know that it's almost bedtime. So I love to consume lemon balm tea right around that 7 p.m. time as well. So I know that anxiety and stress can feel extremely overwhelming and like it's out of our control, but that doesn't have to be the case. Instead of shutting down and doing some of that mindless snacking or scrolling, I encourage you to turn to healthier alternatives, even something as simple as a cup of tea. I know it doesn't feel like much, but I can promise you, tiny micro habits that you can stack build a really beautiful, healthier lifestyle that help you feel more settled and calm throughout the day, and of course, in those times of crisis where you may feel out of control. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, you can let me know by giving it a big thumbs up. And now the subscribe button is right over here on the screen. Give that a click. That way you don't miss a single video, and I hope to see you back here next Thursday.